Good morning po sa ating lahat. For this morning, our gospel reading tells us about two stories of two women that are not that different. Between the two stories, here are some of their similarities. First is 12 years. The daughter of Jairus is 12 years old, and the woman who is suffering from continuous bleeding has been bleeding for 12 years. The second one is extreme sickness. Both the girl and the woman are suffering from extreme sickness or illness. Number 3, both of them seek the healing from Jesus. Both of them ask Jesus for help, and both are helped and healed regardless of their status. Jairus is a leader of the synagogue. He has power. And this woman has been broke or talagang naghirap na because everything that she has ay naubos na dun sa kanyang pagpapagaling, doon sa kanyang karamdaman. And they both came from different status, but they are both helped and healed by Jesus. And the last similarity that they have is their faith. According to verse 34, Jesus told the woman, "Your faith has healed you." And in verse 36, "Don't be afraid, just believe." That is faith for Jairus. Now let us dig deeper to these two common stories we have. Jairus, as I said a while ago, is a leader of the synagogue. That gives him some status, that puts a certain aura around him. Jairus is the person others go to. He is a decider, a determiner. He has resources. He has position. He has power. He may be used to solving all of his own problems. But this time, hindi na niya kaya. This time, he was not able to solve this kind of problem, and that is his own daughter close to dying. It says in verse 22 to 23, "Then one of the synagogue leaders named Jairus came, and when he saw Jesus, he fell at his feet. He pleaded earnestly with him, 'My little daughter is dying. Please come and put your hands on her so that she will be healed and live.'" Jairus pleaded the Lord for his daughter to not just be healed, but to live a life. 12 years old, such a very young age. But that time, during the time of Jesus, yung edad na yon, marriageable age na. They are going to start a new life. They're going to start a brand new chapter of their life that will eventually lead them to their purpose. So, itong batang ito, dahil close na siya sa kamatayan, she is not able to live that life anymore. Yung pinangarap ng kanyang mga magulang para sa kanya, hindi na niya makakamit because of this illness. At this point, even with his status and power, he fell at his feet, begging Jesus to heal his daughter, whom he have no control over. It is unclear for us if Jairus is already a follower of Jesus. Hindi natin alam yon. Kung siya ba ay naniniwala na si Jesus ay ang Messiah na pinadala ng Panginoon, or is he a follower of Jesus, follows him, his miracles, alam ba niya yung kanyang mga ginagawa na milagro? But this time, it is clear that he knows that only Jesus has the power to heal his daughter. He said, "Put your hands on her so that she will be healed and live." Alam niya at naniniwala siya that Jesus is capable of restoring this child. He knows in his heart that Jesus, with his hand, with his touch, he is able to bring life for this child. Whether he was a follower or not, in this moment, he indeed showed strong faith for the power of Jesus. After this plead from Jairus, Jesus, well, of course, wanted to heal this child, and so he went with him. But as they were walking, a huge crowd followed them, and then there's this woman. So imagine niyo po, sa panahon ngayon, medyo imposible ito. Bawal ang crowded places, crowded area, o hindi pwedeng maglumpo-lumpo lang mga tao sa paligid ng isang tao. But imagine the state of Jesus that time, that a lot of people are following Him, a lot of people are crowded and pushing towards each other, going to Him, and all of that. There was this woman who has been bleeding for 12 years, and all of her resources, finance, everything, went to all possible ways she can ask for help and be healed, but to no avail. Hindi siya gumaling. She ended up worse. Now, she intends to ask healing from Jesus, but not to talk to Him. Hindi siya gagaya kay Jairus. Hindi siya kagaya ni Jairus na lumapit sa Panginoon at gusto niyang hingin siyang hawakan siya para siya naman ay gumaling. No. She intently said that even with just a touch of His cloak, she will be healed, as we can read in verse 28. She thought, if I just touch His clothes, sabi niya, I will be healed. Indeed, once she touched Jesus' cloak, she was completely healed of the bleeding for 12 years. 12 long years, and just a touch of Jesus' cloak, okay na. That's it. She's healed. And in this part, makikita na natin how present and how attentive Jesus is. He felt power released from Him, and He started looking for the person who touched her. Ang sabi niya, may kapangyarihang, naramdaman niya may kapangyarihang lumabas sa kanya, kaya sabi niya, sino ang humawak sa akin? Imagine crowds of people gathered around you, tapos itatanong mo, sino yung humawak sa'yo? It seems impossible for it to be answered, di po ba? Confused ang mga disciples. Sabi sa verse 30 to 31, at once Jesus realized the power had gone out from Him. He turned around in the crowd and asked, who touched my clothes? You see the people crowding against you, His disciples answered, and yet you can ask, who touched me? Sino nga namang hindi magtataka? Nagtutulakan na yung mga tao, lapit sila ng lapit. Hila-hila dito, hila doon. Natural, madami pong hahawak or madaming makakatouch ng parts ng likod or ng damit ni Jesus. And yet, there's this one person na alam niya something happened. The woman was afraid. Of course, natakot siya. Baka mamaya magagalit sa kanya. But Jesus affirmed her by saying she is healed and her faith has made her well. Her faith made her well. This woman showed resilient faith. That even after years of suffering from this illness, after sacrificing all that she had, she is still holding on to that hope that Jesus will heal her no matter what and no matter how. Jesus will give her the healing she desperately seeks. That is resilient faith. Now, with the story of this woman, it was as if it became an interruption to the walk of Jesus. Meron siyang destination eh. Meron siyang pupuntahan. And yet, habang naglalakad siya, na-interrupt siya dito sa ginawa ng woman na ito. What happened with the woman was somehow a detour that is not originally planned or expected. Hindi naman niya pinlano na sa kalagitnaan, sabi ng mga disciples, o mag-heal dito. Walang ganong klaseng mga nangyari, no? But this is not the case for Jesus. For one, He did not see the woman as an interruption. The woman that time was not a hindrance, not a detour for Jesus. He affirmed her and found this an opportunity for grace and healing and not inconvenience. Nakita niya itong pagkakataong ito na isang way to minister to this woman and to heal her of her suffering. And as Christians and follower of Jesus, we too are to seize every moment as such. We are to treat every opportunity, no matter how big or small, as a chance for grace and restoration for people. Rather than thinking of all of this as interruptions or as inconvenience we experience, we shall use those moments for much more advancement in the mission and work of Jesus and His gift to His people. He wants us to see each moment of our life, to give and to receive, to be attentive and to be present, to be alive and real, just like He is. Gusto niyang maranasan natin yung ganong klaseng attention, ganong klaseng presence sa mundong ginagalawan natin, na hindi natin makikita ang mga bagay-bagay as interruption, but an opportunity to grow in the ministry of God, to be healed, to be restored for other people. Another point we can get from Jesus in this story is that nothing is ever unexpected. Walang unplanned, walang interruption, at walang unexpected. Everything He did was part of His grand mission on earth, including the sudden appearance of the woman. That exact moment the woman needed healing the most, Jesus was there. Sa tinagal-tagal ng panahon, that is the time that she needed to be healed, and Jesus was there for her. This shows us that even though it seems that we have been suffering for a long time, there is this one moment Jesus will set for us to meet Him and to bring us that healing that we need on the time we needed it most. Because God works like that. Always in the perfect timing. We may suffer from illness or other things due to a lot of possible reasons, such as sin or wrong use of our free will. These may be consequences of our actions before, of our decisions that are not guided by God. But there is an assurance that God will set a time and a place for us to be completely restored and be raised up in complete healing in His presence. In God's presence with us. We can experience that one thing that we are looking for the longest time, only in His presence. Now let's go back to the daughter of Jairus. She was dead when they arrived. A situation where it seems so hopeless. And nothing can be done and no one can do anything about it. The child died. And this can be seen as the end for people around them. Parang wala nang pag-asa. That's it. The child is dead. We can no longer do anything about it. But Jesus raised her back to life. He did not just heal her, but He gave her a new life for her to live fully. Hindi lamang siya gumaling, but there is a rebirth of this child. May panibagong buhay na ipinagkaloob sa kanya, hindi lamang healing, but a total change of life, a new life. One of the things we can see here is that for Jesus, everything is temporary, even death. In this world, nothing is permanent, and all of it can be changed even in the blink of an eye. One moment, people are crying, people are weeping, people are shouting of sadness because of this child who died. And then afterwards, she was walking up. Jesus ordered them to give her food. She is hungry. She is very much alive. Walang permanente sa ating mundo. It is the same for the woman who have been bleeding for 12 years. That bleeding, that illness, kahit gaano pa katagal, it's just temporary. Eventually, in the Bible, Jesus showed us that even His suffering and death on the cross is temporary. He was raised back to life and ascended into the heavens. Lahat pinakita ng Panginoon sa atin, very much temporary ang lahat ng dito sa mundo. Brothers and sisters, no matter what we are going through right now, the suffering, the pain, illness, or whatever it is, these are all temporary. Let us have that faith that holds on to Jesus, that He can renew us and give us a brand new life, living abundantly with Him in our lives until the time comes when we go home to Him in the life everlasting. Amen.